Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of 2 Cents Plus. So I just watched episode 57 of My Hero Academia. The episode is called Rescue Exercises, and this show, man, there's a lot that I want to talk about in regards to this show, but today what we're going to talk about is how this show handles superhero scenarios differently and more in depth than anything that I've ever seen, even like because superheroes, for the most part, is basically a Western convention. Like, it's a thing that, you know, us over here in America, or just like Western places in general, it's typically like our thing. And there's been a lot of anime and a lot of Eastern influences putting out their spin on the hero genre. But this is by far the best I think I've ever seen, period. They tackle everything in this show. There are so many things in this show that you wouldn't even take time to sit for a moment and consider that this show has taken into account. Rather it be, you know, the difference between an actual hero and somebody who's being paid by the government, things that you should or should not consider when it comes to civilians and casualties and natural disasters, or even, you know, villain attacks, with like the kind of micro things that you wouldn't typically look at. For example, this episode talked about or displayed a rescue scenario to the heroes in order for them to get their hero license, and they were being scored by the people who were playing the civilians in this scenario. And a lot of things that they brought up never gets brought up in anime, just like it never gets brought up in hero movies or stories. So like the state of the civilians, you need to know and be able to assess the situation and figure out exactly what's wrong with the civilian. You need to have a positive demeanor and a positive attitude, and not to freak out or speak about things being grim or whatever in the presence of people, especially if they're scared. There's a lot of spatial awareness and paying attention to your surroundings, and that's like obvious, you know, that's stuff that you just like, of course that's things that they have to do, but it is explored and emphasized so much in this show, and you get caught up in all this action and all this stuff that's going on, and it doesn't seem like people are really paying attention to their surroundings too much, but in this episode it really shows, like, here's the scenario. The authorities can't get there. You're the only one there. Not only do you have to be a hero, because this is what usually gets shown in, you know, Western cartoons and movies and stuff, where they just come in, they do some heroing, and then everybody cheers, and then they leave. But they're like, you got to be a medic. You have to be a counselor. You have to be all kinds of things. You know, you got to be a strategist. You have to do whatever you can as far as the jobs of the paramedics or the police. You have to assert authority. There's so many things that you have to do to make sure that things are on the up and up. You know, you can't just run in and just use your powers, because you could end up making things worse. You can't just move somebody the moment you see them, because you have not figured out what their injuries are. You haven't figured out whether or not you're going to make the situation worse just jumping in, than if you took time to actually look around and see what was going on. And I think that's so interesting for something that's, you know, a cartoon, because that's what people say, all the stupid cartoons or whatever, to explore things on such a human level. Like, this is the most human show about superpowers I think I've seen in a long time, at least in anime form. I could probably think of like other TV shows, especially some of the spin-offs today are adding a pretty heavy emphasis on the humanity side of, you know, either gaining superpowers or being a superhero, surrounded by a bunch of people who aren't. But it's very interesting watching this show, and it makes you think. It makes you think that it's more than just having superpowers that makes you a hero. I mean, which is obvious, you know, that's kind of cliche at this point. A lot of people or a lot of shows have kind of put that forward, where it's like this: you can't just be a hero, you can't just have powers and just be a hero. There's things that you have to take into consideration, and I love the way that it is explored, especially the part where Deku runs up on the kid, and the kid's like crying. He's like, "Oh, help, my grandpa's you know, in trouble." And Deku freaks out and he's like, "Oh my god, where is he?" And the dude's like, "You fucked up. You already fucked up. Not only am I injured, and I'm sitting here injured and hurt and everything, you didn't even take a moment to figure out what it is that's wrong with me. I immediately told you that my grandpa was hurt, and you're just like, oh, we gotta run and go find him now. And it's like, no. Secondly, you freaked out. You completely I'm freaking out. I'm the one in trouble. You're not supposed to be freaking out. And it's so, like I said, it adds this extra element to it, where it's not just like these people are cool because they have powers and you know, whatever. It's more, you know, the act of being a hero extends beyond things that are conventional. You know, it's things that you could assume. It's things that, you know, you would figure would come into play. But in a society, and this is another added layer too, usually what'll happen is the bulk of the people in said society are normal, and there's one or two, you know, heroes, or maybe a handful of heroes that are solely responsible for looking after things and making sure that everything's okay. Now the roles are reversed. Majority of the people in this town are heroes and have powers, or well, not heroes, but they have powers. And figuring out not only what you can do, but looking at your surroundings and figuring out who's with you and how you and their powers can combine in order to optimize the situation. And that comes from all types of avenues, like how to use the least amount of energy, how to use the least amount of resources, how to make sure that the situation in order to save somebody is as optimal as possible. You have to look out just in case villains show up, and you have to take care of that. You have to be able to multitask. There's so many different things. And like I said, I don't know, this last episode got me pumped. I'm really excited to see the next one, because they're bringing the villains in now, and obviously everybody was already freaking out about doing this, so they're like, we got to keep our cool, we got to keep these people safe, we have to also think at the same time about what the best scenario is and how to do that, but now we got to do it while fighting. It's insane. It is ridiculous. But this is my favorite show right now. This is my absolute favorite show. I do still love Shokugeki no Soma, but that one's on a break right now. Food Wars, for people who don't know the Japanese name of that show. But man, this show has got me hooked, man. It's had me hooked for a while, but this is one of the best anime I've watched in a very long time, and it's gonna be on my list for a long time. And I don't know, man. I can't even remember if I've even seen any really good superhero anime. Like, I've seen a lot of, you know, I don't know what to classify it as, but they're like these extraordinary people doing extraordinary things, but they weren't even really like heroes. They were just like strong people defending some place or whatever. There was an anime before. I can't remember what it was called. But basically the premise was these people ended up getting superpowers, and they were like, they had all these crazy ass powers that can do all these amazing things. But the twist of the show was like, there's nothing going on. Like, there's no crime or really anything for them to fight against. They just have these extraordinary powers. So the show is basically them just fucking figuring out what they can do on their day-to-day basis, having these extraordinary powers and nothing really to do with them. Which was very interesting, because it's just like, there's this sense of boredom that comes with having extraordinary power, but literally nothing to actually do with them. So they created these scenarios where they could just fight with each other, or just, you know, they had these really active imaginations where they would just come up with things because there was nothing to actually fight. And it was more of a slice of life than like a superhero anime, but I thought that was pretty interesting too. I have to remember what it's called. It was a weird anime, but yeah. Let me know what you guys think if you've seen episode 57. What do you think about the rescue exercises? What do you think about this show and the way that they handle superheroes? And the things that you have to take into consideration. There's so many layers. Like the difference between Pain's ideology and All Might's ideology right now. It's so crazy watching the influence of both of these people affect the heroes in different ways. Stain's more of the, you shouldn't be a government dog if you're going to be a hero. There should be no payment, no compensation. You should just do. And, you know, All Might is the symbol of peace, coming from keeping order, and he doesn't mind the system the way that it is, even though he has expressed some acknowledgement of the way that the system is and how it can be broken sometimes. It's interesting. It is very interesting. But the question I want to end this on, obviously I asked a few questions before, you guys can answer that, but what do you think about Stain's philosophy when it comes to heroes in this show? Do you think that the heroism stops when you start getting paid for it, or do you think that you know that's kind of a necessary part of it, considering the bulk of the people there have you know have superpowers now, and they got to make a living somehow, because it's very difficult to, I would imagine it's probably very difficult to be a hero and then hold a full-time job at the same time or something. So are they wrong for being paid for what they do? And does that somehow tarnish the label of hero because you're being paid for it? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I know I haven't made an anime video in a while, but this really inspired me. I'm gonna try to get more of these out. I know I say that every time, but my workspace is not super convenient, so when I am really riled up and ready and I'm just like, oh, this is such a good topic, I want to talk about it, my surroundings will not enable it. So today was just kind of one of those perfect days. So hit that like button if you liked it, hit that dislike button if you didn't, and share the video and let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.